My name is Abdullah Moghal,
My name is Yousuf Riaz.
and together we're presenting Calme, Fueling Focus in a Burnt Out Generation. So, as of right now, Gen Z is currently facing an energy crisis. A survey done by Deloitte showcases that 40% of Gen Z members experience persistent anxiety and stress, right? Now, this could be stem from many different things, such as like the economy as of right now, from we have no guarantee by graduating if we're gonna have a job after college or just be able to buy a house or a car in this economy. And so because of that, there are many different things that a Gen Zer has to think of in the back of their mind. And because of that, they also rely on many stimulants, one of them being energy drinks. And as you guys could see in the past year and what's projecting to showcase, the energy drinks market revenue by 2033 is going to be projected to be $48 billion, right? And so we decided to ask Gen Z ourselves, right? We sent out a survey to a bunch of college students as well as high school students, and one of the questions that we asked were the top complaints about energy drinks, right? 62% of the students replied the crash and anxiety that comes after an energy drink, and then we asked stuff like the sugar and ingredients, the taste, and the price that follow. We also asked a question if they would be interested in a better alternative, and as you guys could see, 70% of people answered yes, 27 said maybe, and 3% said no. And so if we just look at the competitive landscape from a high level, you guys could see we have the main competitors like Red Bull, Monster, Celsius, Bing, and Rockstar, all having caffeine content of 140 milligrams and above. And their main branding focus is just going at it, just keep going harder. You guys can see Red Bull, high performance and adventure, hyper intensity and edgy for Monster, fitness and optimal performance for Celsius. We have a high stimulation loud for Bang, and party and hustle culture for Rockstar.
Now let's dive into the heart of the opportunity. Looking past the noise, looking at our market, and looking at the competitors, we see two key elements that Gen Z want that's missing in the current market. And the first is controlled energy. And that just means energy that gives you a boost, but doesn't feel like you hit a truck 3 hours later, right? And the second one is messaging that actually resonates with Gen Z. When we looked at the previous slide, we saw a lot of competitors, basically the top 5 competitors, all centered around hyper intensity, push harder, go at it. And that's been the same message that's been put forward across the last 20 years. And so we're seeing a new rise where Gen Z want to see a brand that actually resonates with their lived reality. And so we present Calme, a beverage that's actually designed for Gen Z. We have Calme is centered around one message, that's energy without chaos. And so that means we have a formula that includes 50 milligrams of caffeine, L-theanine, and B vitamins. And what this specific formula does is allows you to get a small boost of energy without the jitters and the high and just feeling terrible after a couple hours, as well as L-theanine, which is a highly researched additive that allows for increased reaction time and focus, as well as B vitamins that allows you to optimize for long-term health. More importantly, however, is actually the branding. We want to center around anti-hustle and the idea of just keep going, because that's what every other brand does. We actually want to position ourselves as the complete opposite, looking to be the one brand that actually understands Gen Z. Now let's talk about target market. We designed our beverage around two key groups. The first being active achievers. And that is just Gen Z students like me and Abdullah here, who often have to balance school, a job, family, etc., etc., etc. And they need an energy brand that actually allows them to get through the late night studying, the early morning jobs, and balancing school without feeling the rush and the anxiety after drinking an energy drink. And we believe that the branding is also a huge part of this, resonating and understanding the key pain points that Gen Z suffers and actually resonating with that. And our secondary group is wellness seekers. And these are consumers who care about their health and actually want clean ingredients and optimize for mindfulness. And we believe that, again, right, our branding plays a key role here in our transparency in our ingredients, as well as just bringing a brand that's totally opposite of what everyone else is constantly pushing. And to actually dive in deeper, we looked at a modern case study of a recent success, and that is Liquid Death. Liquid Death in just the last 7 years, reached a valuation of $1.4 billion. And you know what their unique identifier was? Absolutely nothing. It was just their branding, just the can that they put the water in. And that showed one thing, and that's the fact that you can create a movement around a simple idea of understanding your audience and actually resonating and catering to them. And we want to replicate that same idea with Calme by positioning ourselves as calm, mindful, controlled energy instead of the chaotic energy that's presented across the industry with Red Bull, Monster, Bang, etc., etc. It's all the same, and we want to change that. Why now? So if you've been keeping up, you know that now more than ever, mindfulness and mental health is on the rise. And more than ever, people are thinking about how do I spend my time, and what do I put my energy towards, and what is actually worth my energy. We also see sentiments like anti-hustle and quiet quitting on the rise. And so we believe that now more than ever, consumers, especially Gen Z, are seeking an alternative to the age-old industry of energy drinks and hyper-intensity and just go hard, hard, hard. And now more than ever, the energy focus needs a rebrand because we haven't seen anything new or innovative in the last 25 years. And with that, thank you so much, and I invite you to join the Calme movement. Thank you.
Guess the floor is open for questions.
Yes.
I have a question. So I think you have a really good use of secondary data, trends, and competitive analysis, but I can't recall, can you talk a little bit more about your primary research and why you focused on that to fill a gap?
Absolutely. I can take this. Yeah, so we wanted to make sure that we paired like the secondary with the primary. So we actually within our circle itself, we actually surveyed 100 Gen Z students. So that includes high school and college students. That's within our immediate circle, plus our college classmates, our high school, our peers. And so we kind of focus on number one, frequency. How often do you drink energy drinks? What do you use it for? And what's your main pain point? Why would you not drink one? Why would you drink one? And so kind of the two highlights that we kind of got from it was the one we showcased, which was the fact that the major disagreement with energy drinks, or the major drawback that students actually feel, is the fact that you hate yourself after 3 hours, right? It feels good in the moment, and after like you want to go to sleep and you just can't go to sleep, or your heart's racing, and that's also something I felt too. And so that's kind of what we centered around our brand across. So that was kind of the main thing, and we also found that a lot of Gen Zs are looking for an alternative, right? It's been the same old Red Bull, Monster, same things, and nothing innovative has come up. So that led us to like look into that opportunity and find something that actually met that gap.
Okay. How many questions was your primary research?
7.
7. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Questions? Happy.
I'm actually curious about your primary research also. Did you screen for students who were using drinks, or?
Yeah, so we asked a frequency question. So we actually asked students how often you drank.
Okay.
And so we kind of filtered for people who never drank it, and it was mainly filtered from at least once a week to multiple times a week to that. So we kind of focused on people who at least drink energy drinks once a week. So that's kind of our primary, that's where we segmented across, and that's kind of where we looked at feedback.
Do you have an idea of how many Gen Z were not using those types of drinks from who you talked to?
Yes, we looked at it's around like maybe 7 to 10%.
I guess my only question is, do you think there'll be any challenges around marketing a product that, like you showed in the competitive analysis, most have 150 plus milligrams of caffeine, and the primary reason they're being used is to work those late nights and everything, versus a product that has maybe roughly a third of the caffeine?
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's one thing we thought about is like, does the reducing amount of caffeine actually affect it? And what we found as we looked at market research is the fact that a lot of time it's honestly a lot of it's placebo, and the fact that you're drinking something that's supposed to help, and not the fact that you need that much amount of caffeine. So the idea is the fact that we're still branding our own energy, and And another part of that is like a lot of brands don't actually put how much caffeine they have on the top. It's because it's assumed that it's a large amount of caffeine, you're gonna feel this side effect. So that ends up not being a factor as long as the energy is displayed on the brand name.